so I can improve my leadership skills. And I also want to praise Rochelle for all the work she does behind the scenes in the accounting, and making sure everyone gets their payments early and always managing raises and all these things to make sure that everyone's paid, everyone gets the money they need. And it's so critical. I'll pass it over to Franco.
Thank you, Griff. My first praise is gonna go for Danny Bell for putting up that forum post about how to improve our culture of praise. Actually, it's really interesting. If you get a chance, like go to our forum and check it out. I want to praise also Breaches for joining our rewards team. I'm really happy to have her on board. And the third praise is gonna be to whoever has been updating the Instagram. I saw some stories there, and it's really nice. Like when you're checking Instagram to see like Giveth updates. So yeah, praise to whoever did that. And I'll pass it over to Monique.
Damn, everybody. I want to first praise Griff for accepting to have a buddy review call and listening to all of the constructive feedbacks. I want to praise Nick Balls and Frisha for constantly pursuing issues for the HR and push me forward to fill my forms and do my body review calls. I want to praise my awesome dev team. I want to praise Lauren for filling my place when I'm not here, following up every single issues with the devs. Also praise Mary Jeff and Mo Sadie for preparing lots of issues together with the team in my absence. And I pass it to Tassin.
Hi, everybody. So I want to praise Mo for his work on the care funding. I want to praise Lauren for actually overseeing a lot of these issues and for just being great around. I want to praise Mitch for being a really great overseer and project manager on the Giveth and for his constructive feedbacks. I'll pass to I just joined Nick Parks. Nico.
Yeah, thank you so much, Tosin. Yeah, I'd like to give my praise to Richie's, Griff, Algene, Carlos, Ramin, and Yas for facilitating and having their buddy calls this week. I really appreciate all your efforts for doing that one. I'd also like to praise Mitch, Nicola, and Kai and Frischel for our kickoff call for our DAO Ops working group this week. And also, I'd like to give praise to Frischel for everything that she does with payments and for every support that she gives to me. And passing it to back to you, Griff.
Sure, let's throw it over to Rochelle.
Thank you. I wanna praise Griff for singing this week and hacking on accounting stuff with me. I wanna praise Ashley for sharing her Clockify tips and preparing great documentation as basis for sub-DAO time reporting. And I wanna praise Nico for working with me on fixing time reporting, contract changes, and a lot of contributor support concerns. And I'll pass it to Santi.
Thank you, Michelle. I want to give praise to Ashley for a new round of givebacks. I also want to give praise to Rodri for all the great designs he always does when we need him. And I want to give praise to Mitch for leading the Barcelona group. And I'll pass it to Jay.
Yeah. All right. Well, this one's going to be around my son. So the first one I'm going to start out with is we are not a religious family, but I will go with Griff. He is the godfather for sure. He's been showing a lot of love. It's awesome that he's allowed me to spend so much quality time here initially with my son. Secondly, as they say, it takes a village to raise a child. So I want to shout out to Elgene, Breachies, Ahmad, Ash, and Yaz. They've been doing an unbelievable job while I've been out. So thank you for covering me these last 3 weeks. And then lastly, just a blanket to Giveth Galaxy. Everybody's shown and showered so much love to me and my family. I really appreciate it. I tried to shout out everybody I possibly could, but there's more of you out there. So thanks everybody. I love you, Giveth Galaxy. And I don't think there's one more Giveth Galaxy that I'll pass it to. And then it looks like there's a slew of people that will have to give a go. Nicola, take it from me.
Thank you, Jake. I was just like thinking, oh my God, I have to praise Jake because it's so lovely to see you back. So I'm praising you for taking enough time so that you can be with your family and child and still having your heart and give it and coming back so relatively short time amount of period. And yes, we're having you back. And I also want to praise Mitch and Nico and Kai and myself for really great DAO Ops, our first meeting this year. Oh, this week, this year, and this week. That is looking really promising. I'm excited for how we're merging with conflict resolution and HR and like all these like DAO operations management. So cool. And last but not least, I want to praise Ashley for her amazing drive to always bring something extra and research and do things always on top of her work and basically like bringing so much inspiration and innovation into the space by just like researching a great and other platforms that we can get inspired from, we can collaborate with. And yeah, I'm excited when we have more development in this area within the verification team. So that's my three praises, and I'm gonna pass it to Ashley.
All right, let's jump right in. I don't know if I'm ready for this, but let's try it. I want to praise Nico and Frashel for our sync call that we had, trying to figure out how we can find an alternative to Coda and maybe start using Clockify. I want to praise Almond and Mitch and Lauren and Corey and everybody who's just in the SubDAO call trying to figure out how the structure will work for the new comms chapter or working group or however it turns out, but just trying to hash out some of these sticky details and figure out the best structure for the overall organization of Giveth. And I want to praise Carlos because he always has my back when it comes to database stuff or on the back end, or I can always like DM him with whatever issue I'm facing in the admin bro, or I just need help with something. He's always got my back dev wise. So definitely praise to Carlos. And I will pass it over to Kai.
GM, I want to praise Amin for always having an eye on our technical debt. He's usually the first one to notice if something's not working, and that's nice. He's a hero, you know. I want to praise Bodhisattva, Jim, for upgrading the Heads Bounty Vault together with me. We did that early this week. And I want to praise Mitch for kicking off that awesome DAO Ops meeting. More praise in the channel. And I give it to, let's see, Corey.
Hey, thanks. Okay, let me see. I want to praise you, Ashley, for jumping into all these conversations in the strategy meeting yesterday, and then our SubDAO call just now. It's super helpful to be syncing, since there's so much overlap between Communitas and comms, and there's got to be a solution. And I want to praise Claire for an amazing sync this week and being so supportive as a colleague and a friend. And I want to praise Mitch for continuing to be the organizational master and holding these spaces for us to brainstorm together on how we're going to move through the subdocification process. I'll write the rest in the channel and pass it on to Tossin. Did you go yet?
Yeah, I've got.
He did. He did. Maybe let's throw it over to Surbi.
Oh, yes. I will praise Griff and Ashley for helping me understand more about Giveth. I'm super pumped and excited to hopefully work with a lot of you people in few projects. I am very thankful to a lot of my family members. I am getting married in a month and it's very overwhelming with the kind of preps. So yeah, I mean, a lot of people are just helping out. So yeah, and I'm just I would like to praise all of you here. Like I've taken a long break from work, and I am so delighted to see this very warm space. Sorry. Yes, thank you.
Do you want to gamble and pass it?
Oh, sorry. I will pass it on to Lauren.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, I want to praise Willie for putting in a good word with Citizen Cosmos podcast and causing them to reach out and do a great podcast. And also I want to praise Willie for being so great at coordinating the Fox XDI regen farm. Also, I want to praise Corey for running the comm strategy sync call yesterday and putting together a really clear document on like the next steps. And I didn't write down my at all. And I want to praise Mitch for coordinating this DAO call, this sub-DAOification call, and trying to just like work through a lot of the different nuances, as well as everyone else in that call. And I will pass it on to Monique.
Monique already went, but Breachies hasn't.
Yeah, can you listen to me?
Yep.
Yes, perfect. So my first praise is for Aldine because she's a great teammate, and even when we're in different time zones, like she's always open to work together. My second praise is for Nico and Frischel because they help me to organize body calls for grief, and they are always on top of everything. And my third praise is for Griff because he is always open to improve and he's a fun boss. And I don't know who are we missing. Can I pass it to you, Griff?
No, it's okay because we hit our 15-minute mark. So I'm so sorry for everyone else. We try to cap this to 15 minutes, but you just experienced praise. The coolest thing about praise, like in this call, is decentralized updates. You get to see the little corner of the galaxy, of each corner of the galaxy. But also, the second coolest thing about praise is that it turns into give tokens when you write it down in the Discord. So if you /activate your praise, you can actually start dishing praise, and every praise you dish will turn into tokens. So just show your gratitude to the community, and the people who you feel are really kicking ass will actually receive give tokens because of it. And praise to Franco for organizing the whole rewards working group. Yeah, and welcome to Community Call 164. We have a bunch of stuff going on. Fox XDI Regen Farm is going live next week, so if you like Fox and you like and you want to support their liquidity, usually APRs are around 100%, so that's super cool. Check that out. Also, AI June is coming. We all enjoyed AI April. Just wait till AI June. It's going to be really fun. Praise to Breachies for working on helping me build a plan for that one. And just another reminder, if you know anyone with a nonprofit project at all out there that could get verified on Giveth, they will get an instant 25 OP donated to them. So bring on your projects. And if you already have a project on Giveth, all you got to do is go to your profile page, and there's under each project there's a manage addresses button. Click that manage address button, and you'll see where you can add an optimism address. So all you got to do is just add an optimism address, and you're going to get 25 OP, which is like over $35 right now. So that's pretty amazing, and major praise to Optimism for making that happen. And with that, we can just start into our working group section. I'll pass it over to Corey for the comms working group.
Hey, thanks. Yeah, the comms working group meets every Tuesday at 10 a.m. Costa Rican time, 6 p.m. Central Eastern Standard Time. So come join us there. And we've got some nice updates this week. We launched a new podcast, the Aprendamos Refi podcast that just went live on Monday. And this is for our Spanish-speaking community, addressing all kinds of cool topics around refi and how refi is making an impact in the world. So the first episode went out on Monday. Check it out, and also don't forget to subscribe. So there's also a link there in the slide where you can go to Spotify and hit the follow button, which will keep you up to date on all the latest episodes. Otherwise, we also have, well, we already mentioned that Optimism is now on Giveth. It's been on Giveth for a little bit. And of course, we have this campaign that's gone underway. So we're just informing all of the projects and letting everybody know that if they're in that first group of 640 projects, they're going to get 25 OP gifted to them. So We're working to promote that to the community. And also, if you didn't get to see our latest Give talk, we talk even more about optimism there. So there's a recording on Twitter right here. Check it out if you weren't able to join live yesterday. And otherwise, we posted an epic thread of threads outlining all of the amazing projects that came out of AI April. So this is an awesome summary to share, showing like all of the cool stuff that came out of that, which is an amazing precursor and actually should be used as a trailer for AI June. So check it out and help spread the word, because a lot of work went into this campaign and it's just really cool to share. And yeah, otherwise, as mentioned, we had a great strategy meeting this week, included with also Communitas members there. So we're looking to further develop out the strategy for the comms chapter and or working group, as we still need to decide. So what's next otherwise is more work on that front, as well as our upcoming Give News edition for May and some more SEO work. So stay tuned for that. And that's it from the comms working group today. I'll pass it on to Communitas.
Thanks, Corey. We have a weekly community AMA and orientation call on Wednesday. So I just kind of hang out in the community voice channel and answer any questions you might have, whether it's a contributor question or a project owner question or a donor question. I will do my best to give you all of the resources. And every week I'll be there. And then Communitas working group sync calls are now happening bi-weekly. Our next one will be Tuesday, the 30th at 9 a.m. Costa Rica time. So if you want to join us and learn about strategizing and how we can like build community and nurture our current community, that's the place to be for that. And for updates, we've got this big subdaification and strategy overhanging fruits that we're reaching for, trying to get them aligned. And so if you are a Communitas contributor currently and should be included in the budget, you should check out this document, because we've only got one more week of tracking hours, and then we'll begin building the proposal and the budget. So at the end of this month, I'll take all that data and put it all together. We've got a PeopleDAO Twitter space coming up on May 29th at 3 p.m. Costa Rica time, and this will happen in the PeopleDAO Twitter, which is really exciting because they have a huge following there. So hopefully we can bring in some new community members from there, as well as our ambassador program is still going strong. We're currently working on module 2, and we've got 4 really engaged ambassadors that are rocking it. And so far they've onboarded 10 projects, and 6 of those projects have become verified. So that's really cool. If you want to become part of season 2, definitely fill out this type form. There's a little link here on the slide. And that should start probably like in the summer. We've got a couple of upcoming Give talks. We've got one with White Hat DAO on Wednesday the 31st, as well as we might be doing a PFP promo one. The date is still kind of in the works of planning on that one. So you can find all the past episodes of those Give talks, those Twitter spaces. We record every one of them and we put it on Spotify and YouTube, and the links are here on the slide. Up in the corner, we've got like a collective brainstorming area. So if you think you know of a great community or project that would be good for a community spotlight, schedule them on this document. Ideas for Twitter spaces or future Giveth Essentials sessions can also be added. And speaking of Giveth Essentials, we have scheduled the next one. It's going to be Gravity 101 on June 6th at 9 a.m. Costa Rica time. You can find past sessions in this link, and you can find this one actually scheduled on the calendar, the Giveth calendar, as well as in the Discord calendar. So sign up for that if you want to join us. Nicola is going to lead it, and it's going to be a lot of fun. And Gravity is also meeting on June 9th, will be their next monthly sync. So if you're interested in getting more involved with the Gravity group and how they facilitate our conflict resolution flow, then go ahead and get involved there. And if you're feeling any conflicts or tension or anything weird in the community that we can use as an opportunity to like become a better organization, there's a type form here and you can fill that out. So we want to take all of these conflicts as an opportunity to grow as an organization. So please, if you have any, fill that out. And that's what we got for this week for Communitas, and I will pass it on to the Platform Circle Development Working Group.
Yeah, everybody. This is Monique presenting the Dev working group on behalf of Amin. Our weekly sync is happening on Monday, 8:30 a.m. Costa Rica time, 4:30 p.m. Central European times. And let's take a look at our updates. We had a release, the release number 2.15.6, and it includes these 4 pretty features: instance boost, projects filtered by chain, create stream, and we added a new notification if a project changed the rank. And we had some updates for other projects and some updates for Giveth. For other projects, it's not accurate, but we can say that we spent time on Twitter praise bots. On Canon project, we started some time, and for praise project, we also dedicated half time of the Muhammad. For updates for Giveth, or the focus this week is mostly on QF, quadratic funding. And the backend and the front end, we can say we have 15% progress. For our program enhancement also happening on the design side, and we're reviewing to have a very appealing version soon. Onboarding landing pages, it's happening, but it's a little bit blocked by the design. And give power balance aggregator, we made it happen. And the give files processing. And we had some hot fixes after the release. And I can pass it to Give Economy Working Group. Lauren.
Awesome. In the Give Economy Working Group, as Monique mentioned, we're doing a lot of work on quadratic funding. So we basically have a new call for quadratic funding right now and have made a separate working group. Focusing on building the estimated matching, as well as in the research side of things, working on how we're going to be removing Sybils and talking with Open Data Collective and former members of the Gitcoins FDD to figure out kind of the right approach there. Also in quadratic funding, we're getting started on building out the business model. Oh, sorry, Griff, you can go to the next slide. The business model, basically so that you can, that we can prove that quadratic funding is going to be valuable for Giveth. In Give Economy Working Group in general, new Fox XDI regen farm is going to go live next week, so that's pretty exciting stuff that we're coordinating. We're also working on getting Optimism to Optimism givebacks up, so that when you donate on Optimism, you'll get give tokens on Optimism. And we're talking about Giveth Pro. We want to make Giveth Pro basically a part of QF, so you'll need to stake give tokens on your project in order to become eligible for QF. So working on the design for that and basically just kind of working it into our quadratic funding flow as well. So that's new fun stuff that came up this week. And in the give savings side of things, the call is right after this one. So anyway, I'm a little bit out of date with updates, but we're queuing up work for front end devs. The design is finished and we're getting started on actually building this thing. So that is all I've got in the Give Economy side of things. I'll pass it to Griff for fundraising.
Thanks, Lauren. Yeah, so we have a fundraising call every Monday at 10 a.m. And definitely come to that on Mondays. It's a fun call where we go over all the crazy grant opportunities in the space. We are really focused on Optimism. Optimism is where they are giving out so many grants and doing so many cool things. So that's really where we spend a lot of our focus. But also we're looking at adding ETC, Zcash, Mantle, and BNB as potential chains that we can bring donations to, and hopefully they'll give us a grant to do it. So we're working hard on that. Also, ENS has a lot of cool funding opportunities. Like this week specifically, they have a small grants round out. Giveth is on it. They're taking proposals for a couple more days. So make sure if you have grants that you're working on, you proposed to ENS for 1 Ether. Super easy process. Yeah, and then they also have a large grant application that I think closes today. So that's for $50,000. We're definitely applying for that as well. And then there's Golem, and Lauren's managing Golem, and they're still working on how they're designing their system of giving away $1 million to various projects, and we're one of them, one of 10. So that's a super awesome opportunity, and we'll see how it comes in. We were very successful in Gitcoin a couple weeks ago, but the results are still not in. I think the last week, no new rounds have actually put out as far as I've seen. If anyone has seen results for Gitcoin, or if you do, please help us out. We have this Google spreadsheet where we're tracking all the results. Don't be afraid if you see the results come out for anybody to just jump in there and fill it in so we can all track it. We have succeeded at adding all of our new chains. And we've gone over $100,000 to add these chains for donations. It's such a huge win for us. So hopefully we can add a few more, as I mentioned earlier. And then we have our Notion doc where we track all the grants. There's way too many to talk about, and so many projects that are jumping in. We're fundraising as a community. So it's super fun. And if you know anybody who is looking for support in getting grants, we actually do fundraising as a service. So many of our contributors are working to help other groups get grants, and there's so many of them out there. So don't be shy about asking us for support there. And yeah, and that's it. We're still waiting to collect the optimism for pairwise. That the KYC has been a challenge over there, but and same for Blobscan, but things are moving. With that, I'll throw it over to the design working group. Is that you, Mo, or is that Tossin?
Oh, that's me. Sorry, I had issues with the mute button. So from the design end, we are working on Giveth referral. We're actually finalizing the design and fixing some bugs in the user flow. You can check out the Figma link and drop a comment if you have any. And for QF quadratic funding, we are actually just trying to improve the user flow, trying to make things better, make the experience more seamless. And we've also actually attached the Figma link, so if you can go through the design and see if you could drop a comment. And for Giphy, I think like Lauren said, we are done almost with the design. We're actually just making some final fixes and the copy improvements and the old typography for the design, trying to blend it, trying to make it seamlessly sync with the design system. And we're also working on adding optimism to the gig economy. And actually, this is still a work in progress. We're still trying to find a way to actually integrate this seamlessly. And I think that is all for the design working group. Pass to, is it Mitch or?
Oh, it is me. Look at that. There we go. All right, DAO working group. We got our Syncs governance calls happening at Monday, 9 a.m. Costa Rica. That is 5 p.m. Central European. Some small updates here. Just another reminder, as some of you mentioned in your praise, we're having sub-DAO support calls. That is happening the hour before this call begins every Thursday. So if you need help getting your sub-DAO started, reminder, we got 5 weeks to have all of our working group proposals up. So this will be happening for you to come in, hang out with me and Frashel, and figure all this out. Some things to vote on. The only thing we're looking at this week is in the NR Give. So we've got the core team compensation reimbursement for April 2023. And we also have about an hour left to vote on givebacks round 36. And also the matching NICE token distribution. And I think those are going to pass now. I know we were a bit concerned if they were going to pass. Let's have a quick look here. What do we got in the token log in the meantime? All right, quadratic funding. This Kubernetes thing is still here. What? Analytics dashboard, Giveth, Giveth APIs, Giveth Pro, project discussions, adding Give Power to Optimism. Oh, multi-sigs, that's cool. Super modular, what? Okay. Oh, that's cool. All right, so lots of cool things in there. And if you guys want to take some time and participate, if you have any give tokens on Gnosis chain, you can actually jump in here and vote on the features that you want to see Giveth building. So that's the token log. Griff's doing it now. He's always got some more. So yeah, get in there, participate. Looks like the givebacks votes are set to pass, so we're all good on there. And yeah, it's all right. I think we're good. We can pass it on to Griff.
Thanks, Mitch. GM. So we got to check out who's on vacation this week. Actually, not too much. In fact, this governance section is pretty slow. Heather's been walking for a month almost, it seems. So she'll come back next week, which is great, and we miss her so much. Jake is back, and it's so great to have him back after a very short paternity leave. And Moshe Hab has been off this week. And Lauren and I are going to fly out of Costa Rica tomorrow, so we'll be halftime because we gotta drive to the airport. So yeah, but that's it for vacation. And also, things are super quiet on the forum. This has got to be the quietest forum week in probably, I don't know, maybe a year, maybe more. Probably since the launch of the Give economy. Since before that, only a few forum posts worth mentioning. Subdialification has been hopping off. That's where all the forum action is for sure. There's also a really cool forum post about stewarding praise from Danny Bell, and lots of interesting things about how we should try to increase our praise action, which is already happening. Well done, people. Well done, friends. And AI buddy reviews. And in general, I just want to say, like, we need more buddy reviews. I've been talking with Nico, and lots of people don't fill out any buddy reviews. And I'm hoping we can change that and actually make sort of a policy where every quarter you have to fill out at least 3 buddy reviews. Yes, 1 buddy review a month. It's not so hard. Come on, guys. But we need to start giving feedback on each other so we can all hear how we can improve and do better. The buddy reviews are incredibly important. And I'll just even post the type form here if you're thinking about it now. Don't be shy. Fill out that type form. Tell people, hey, you're doing great. Or, you know what you could do better? I got this idea. You know, this one time you wasted your time on this thing, we can do better. You know, it's so valuable. And everyone is giving like so many 10 out of 10s. And major praise to Lauren and Suga for filling out so many contributor feedback forms. You guys have basically given feedback on everybody. But that's not actually a good thing for us as a system. Like, major praise to Suga and Lauren. But I want to hear what Mo thinks about Tossin's work. And well, I don't get to hear these things, but Tossin needs to know, you know, and Monique and the Middle East team we need more feedback forms. So I can't say it enough or anymore. Fill out some feedback forms on each other. There's lots of reviews going on. And yeah, with that, I guess we are killing it on time. So, also, we're hiring. One last thing. We are actually hiring again. We're hiring a CTO position. We're also looking at spinning up a backend position potentially. So if you know any developers, any Rockstar developers that want to make the world a better place, we are open for business. And yeah. And with that, I can jump into the community spotlight. So it's super cool to be hosting LunCo. LunCo has been everywhere these days. I see you in all the Twitter spaces, and very active on Twitter especially. So it's really great to get to hear more about what you have working on, and maybe I'll just pass it to you, Rod, to introduce LunCo.
Yeah, just a second. Everything just broke. Oh. Sorry, just a second. Everything just broke, as it always happens during the presentation. So yeah, thank you so much, and I want to praise the one who decided to give OP tokens for setting the mark. I like such crazy cases in Web3 world. I think it's really funny. So just a second, I will share my screen. My name is Rod. I'm 33 and I'm being really active for the last year in Web3 community. I know about crypto since 2014. I've read Bitcoin white paper, Ethereum yellow and white paper, and I do understand what it means, but I had no idea what actually Web3 means until last year when I started to be really active. 9 years ago, I decided to dedicate my life to space exploration, and 5 years ago, I had an opportunity to become a professional space engineer. Last year, I quit my job to start my project that is called LunCo. I'm trying to share my screen. I'm really sorry, but everything is super slow. As a space engineer, I've designed a robot called Asaguma. It should be launched to the moon on the second Peregrine lander in a couple of years.
Just so you know, you're
And
sharing Discord. I don't know if you want to share Discord or if you want to share a different screen.
no. Can you hear? Can you see different?
Nope, just Discord.
Oh, sorry. Then let me do it one more time.
Yeah, it's the bottom
Find
middle.
the right. Oh, okay. Yeah. I think I found it. I can just share the whole screen. So most of the time when I worked on the rover for the lunar exploration, I actually spent on filling down the documents and exchanging models back and forth. And like at some point in time, we had made tons of different models of different versions of different documents. And it was really exhausting because senior systems engineer from the company called Astrobotic, like she's super smart and she's super cool. She had to spend a lot of time on managing models. And with that idea, I decided to start LunCo. And basically, LunCo is a platform for engineers that allows engineers to exchange all the models using Web3 tools directly. It's built on top of Godot engine, and it'll have all the tools needed for engineering, starting from diagrams. So like here you see a really primitive diagram. Just that's the bare minimum of like you have to manufacture any hardware. You have to follow at least these 4 procedures. Like you have to collect requirements, you have to make a design, computer-aided design. You have to make a couple of simulations to be sure that this design is working. And after all, you have to program your CNC or other tools to manufacture it. LunCo is kind of a metaverse for that, meaning that just let me show. Oh, sorry. Meaning that everything actually happens in 3D by default. Right now it's working. There is a version like you already can collaborate with the people. Unfortunately, this computer is a bit slow, so I cannot run 2 versions. Right now it looks like a game. That's the core, and like there are a lot of assets I have to import. And like here you can see a screen. Actually, if I connect from another device, you will see diagrams like you've seen before. Also, it'll contain tools like Mirrorboard. That's like a tool for diagrams, and there is a tool for a mirror-like board. Oops. I'm not sure if I'll be able to click it. Yeah, it's sorry. Sorry. Anyway, there are a couple of tools needed for engineering, and everything will be working using Web3. Right now, the core is ready. I'm really sorry that things a bit slow on this computer, and it's a bit hard for me to show everything. Um, um, I'm the only person who works full time, but there are around 10 contributors that help from time to time with site design, 3D assets, and things like that. When I started, I actually hired a team, but after a couple of years, I realized that those people, they were not interested in the project. They were interested only in getting money. And then a lot of things happened. So after I finish the core and it's almost ready, I think I need a couple of a couple of months before I make the first decent release that would allow people actually to collaborate together and build robots. And actually, I also already implemented importing of robots. That's the model of of a Perseverance rover by NASA. And actually, importing is almost work. I don't know why, but it's broken right before the call, but basically you almost already can import that model and ride it on the moon, and you can have like a couple of people working together, trying to collaborate to figure out how to control several robots on the moon. So at its core, LunCo is a platform for designing huge complex system, and I'm a space engineer, so I'm building it to design a base on the moon, but it also applicable to actually any robotic mission. For example, with Jimmy Trigen from we've met on Gitcoin, we are planning to conduct a global robotic hackathon about tree planting robots, and LunCo would be useful in that for that applications as well, because at LunCo you can design the whole mission, you can plan how robots work, and actually, yeah. Don't know what to add. Happy to respond on your questions, and also I'll be happy to join your Monday meeting related to grants.
Nice, thanks, Rod. This is epic. Does anyone have any questions for LunCo? I just want to make get a. Oh yeah, go for it, Suga.
Oh, I was just gonna say thanks for presenting that, Rod. The way you presented it just now, it makes it quite clear that actually LunCo is like a rhetorical question. LunCo is a public good, right? It's a public good. It's a fully open source platform for robotics engineers, right?
Yep. And it also built on top of Godot engine. There are two main reasons why I decided to go with the Godot engine. First of all, it's natively 3D, like everything in Godot is in 3D, and sorry for the gecko. Like all the models, they're in 3D, and it's super useful. And the second, maybe the most important reason is that actually Godot is fully open source. It's written on C++, meaning that actually the full stack that is used to develop LunCo is open source, and everyone can fork and even sell it because it's released under MIT, both LunCo and Godot. So I don't know how to make it even more open than it is right now. Like, I'm a huge fan of open source solutions. Sorry, I'm stopping sharing my screen because it's really laggy.
Yeah.
Yeah, can I just say one more thing? I was just reading today because I was reading about financing public goods and the importance of just kind of some obvious stuff, but just this interview with Vitalik talking about the importance of open source material as essential for public goods, precisely because of that, the trust that's involved and the significance of having it open so that everyone can see what's happening. And I just want to add that I worked with Rod on AI April, and I think the whole point was for Rod to do this like radically decentralized project, right? Like radically open source. And so Rod and Vadim were creating this tool that was itself fully decentralized AI. So just kudos to that.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I'm trying to use like all the software that I'm using open source. Sometimes I'm suffer because of it because it's not so good. But I think like I just someone has to do it. Someone has to fill bug reports to make it better. And yeah, actually, I'm developing LunCo on Linux made computer, and I had some like it's Linux, so I had some issues with sharing screens. That's why I'm using right now a Mac, but it's quite slow, so sometimes it's a bit tough to develop things in the open source manner.
Totally. Well, any other last questions for LunCo? I'm just curious, like, what's the end goal of this software? I know it's like the high level goal. Like, do you have any dreams of actually sending something to the moon, like a machine that was modeled with your software, or like what's the like high level vision of like, and now that we have this software, once it's done, now we will get.
Like 9 years ago, when I graduated from university, I decided that I want to build a tourist lunar base. It was a tough journey, but 5 years ago, I joined SpaceBeat, and there I was responsible for designing a robot that would be sent to the moon. But we were not able to deliver it in time. So I've designed a super small device. I was in charge of that device. My goal was to do everything, like to design, to control design, manufacturing, and things like that. And that device is integrated into Astrobotic Peregrine lander that should be sent launched to the moon in a couple of months. So hopefully by the end of this year, there will be a device on the moon that like I was in charge of that device, and I'll be able to point to the moon and say like, okay, there is a thing that I designed. And like now I have that experience. Like it took me 9 years to get to the stage, and now I have some understanding of how things actually work in space. And after LunCo would be decent, it'll be possible basically just to design a complex system like a base on the moon in LunCo. Right now there are a lot of papers, and it's really hard to understand what people mean. Like they describe everything, all the aspects, but it's a paper and you need to visualize it. So in a couple of years, I hope that people would be able to use LunCo to design that students would use LunCo. And I have enough traction to actually deliver the actual base. But I also want to add that I'm also a member of Moondao, and at Moondao, we are starting to work on real hardware. So now we are started. Most probably, we will vote for a lunar communication satellite that will be built in a couple of years, and LunCo is also in plans of Moondao. So at some point in time, actually, I hope that everything related to lunar infrastructure and Mars infrastructure would be designed in LunCo, would be operated in LunCo. That's my final goal, and once it'll be there with enough experience, I'll be continue working on hardware, hopefully contributing a lot into actually a permanent lunar settlement.
Nice. That's amazing, man. That Moondao. Gotta follow Moondao. I'm excited. Thanks for introducing it.
Yeah, and actually looking forward like May 31st, next Wednesday, talking to you at Moondao about the way how such initiatives could be funded, because it's really important. So everyone at Moondao is really looking for you. I've made a brief introduction that you know a lot of ways how to fund public goods.
Yeah,
So
that'll be super cool. Well, I think that we can call it early a little bit. Give everyone their 7 minutes back in their day. Thank you for enjoying Community Call 164. I'll see you at 165. Bye, everyone.
Thanks, Rod. Thanks, Griff.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Thanks everyone. Thanks for the